Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and I don't know if I need to do any more game hunting for the rest of this quarter. I mean, this week has been wild. I mean, it's been one wild week, and what a way to cap off a wild week, or I guess technically start a new week because Sunday starts the new week, right? But we all know mentally, Sunday's the last day of the week for a lot of us, mentally. So for me, this was just one really great way to end off an already phenomenal week with a fantastic trade. Was able to uh, leverage a relationship with a local reseller that I was able to connect with online, and was able to trade in actually some GameCube games that I already had. So while at GameStop the other day, I was able to pick up a whole bunch of GameCube games. I probably between this week and last week, I've probably picked up between 10 and 15 GameCube games. Some of them more common titles, some of them some really heavy hitters. I was able to take two of the heavy hitters that I picked up yesterday or 2 days ago in Legends of Zelda Wind Waker, as well as what was the other game? Wind Waker and geez, now it's escaping me. Oh, Mario Party 4. That's what it was. So Wind Waker and Mario Party 4, and then I had a spare copy of Mario Kart Double Dash. No manual in that one though, but still, there's still value there, of course. Was able to trade in those three games for this copy of Lunar the Silver Star for the Sega CD, and this copy of Castlevania Lament of Innocence. Now, I'm actually really excited to have Lament of Innocence back in my collection. I actually traded both Curse of Darkness and Lament of Innocence away when I sold off a bunch of my PlayStation 2 games like 2 or 3 years ago now. And I quickly got Curse of Darkness back because I realized, like, whoa, that I shouldn't have sold that one. But I had been eyeing Lament of Innocence for about a year now. I found a copy at GameStop a few months back that was loose disc, so didn't really want that. I thought about buying the loose disc and then seeing if I could get a case and manual online for cheap. Of course, no case and manual online for cheap. So I left the disc alone, and I've just figured, you know what, I'll eventually run into a copy of Lament of Innocence complete. For a while, this was a pretty cheap game. I would say like a $15 to $20 game, even complete. And now I'm seeing that it's somewhere around the neighborhood of 25. I see some people trying to get 30 out of it. It is what it is. I guess, the ultimate price of the game is going to depend on condition and things like that. But this copy isn't in horrible shape. We'll probably have to see if I can find a case swap for it, but not horrible shape. It is complete, so I was glad about that. The manual isn't destroyed, which is good. Manuals are a little bit harder to replace than cases, and the disc looks like it's in pretty good shape. So was glad to actually get this one back. I'm gonna have to test this one out here in a little bit. But the big heavy hitter for this trade was, of course, this copy of Lunar the Silver Star. And I already have a copy of Lunar Eternal Blue on the Sega CD, so I did want to have this copy for the Sega CD, because despite having both Lunar Silver Star Story complete and Lunar 2 Eternal Blue complete on the PlayStation 1, these Sega CD versions are a little bit more compact for me, in the sense that they're not like big box games with a bunch of extras and stuff. It's really just the game. So I'm thinking I may wind up selling my PlayStation 1 copies of Lunar 1 and Lunar 2. We'll see. Plus, I just get a more nostalgic vibe from playing these games on the Sega CD. Now, one of the things that I will say is that when I picked up this copy, I was a little bit confused because I didn't realize how many variants of Lunar there were. There were actually 7 variants of this Lunar game that came out. You really can tell based on the disc. There's several disc variants. So when you open it up, open up the game, and you see this this cover art here, there's actually seven different variants for this CD art. But there's basically one variant for the case and manual, the case art and the manual. And this is the one variant that you'll see when it comes to the case art and the manual. So as you can see, like with most, if not all Working Designs games, most of their games, the cover art and the manual will have embossed kind of foil-like lettering. It's just something that's always been done on Working Designs games. You see it on their PlayStation 1 games. You see it on their Sega CD games. You know, that's just how they do. But this was the one variant that actually didn't have that. And if you're looking just for a comparison, I've got Lunar Eternal Blue here. As you can see, the Lunar Eternal Blue, if you can see it, that Sega CD has kind of that reflective, embossed look to it. Same thing with the lettering. And then even when you look at the side of it there on the case art, you see it has that kind of like foil-like look to it on Lunar Eternal Blue. Well, with Lunar Silver Star, some copies did have that look, but as you can see, this one is the variant that does not have that on it. So this is just kind of that first print variant that I think is came out for it. And this was actually really interesting to see because I'm so used to Working Designs having that type of, you know, look. I'm so used to their case art and their manuals having that look to them. But nevertheless, I'm glad to have been able to have picked up and have both of these copies in the collection. So, I mean, just a really, really gnarly way to cap off just a crazy past 2 weeks. Last week, I picked up Popful Mail on the Sega CD. This week, it's Lunar Silver Star. So that makes 2 really good Sega CD games, along with just a bunch of amazing PlayStation 2 titles, as well as some GameCube games. So I am working just on kind of like a recap video for you guys that I'll probably drop this afternoon. Just going to be running some errands here in a little bit, getting out and about with the family, but a really, really, really great week. And the best part is I love when I'm able to trade for these types of games. You know, I really don't find myself buying expensive games outside of GameStop these days, which is actually kind of wild when I think about it. But a lot of the heavy hitting titles that I would probably pay up for, I just know they're more expensive on eBay and I know they're more expensive in mom and pop shops. GameStop on average is still going to be giving me, you know, anywhere between 30 and sometimes even 40% off on some of these heavier hitting titles. The most recent example for me would be my complete in box copy of Twilight Princess, which goes for roughly around 180, or price charts at 178. But I was able to get it from GameStop for $99. So just whenever you see those types of deals, 99, like I said, is still a lot of money for a game, but it's a huge discount from what the market rate is right now. So still trying to be conscious of the budget, right? Which is why I say I think I might be done for the quarter, unless something really crazy pops out at me or I get another amazing trade deal. I don't really see myself doing much more purchasing just because I got to be responsible. You want to stay within the gaming budget. You don't want to go too crazy. And that last GameStop pickup nearly blew out both my budget for both March and April. So we'll have to see what happens. You don't really see that many retro games at a GameStop that often. And like I said in my previous video, I left so much stuff behind. I mean, Sunset Riders, Maximum Carnage, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Mario Kart, like so many like Gen 4, Gen 5, and Gen 6 games that are just top tier that I just left behind because I couldn't take it all. So, and a lot of them I already had in my collection. But I'll share a lot of that in the recap, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.